Good evening, Digital Asset Guy here. Welcome to Digital Asset Guy Evening News. Thank you for being with me. We've got Bitcoin at 93,611. We've got an Ethereum back above, well above 3,000 at about 3,200. Looking pretty nice. Got Tether at $1, XRP back to about 220. So we are seeing, excuse me, a nice uptick in prices. If we look at Bitcoin on the day, though, look at all this volatility. It's really kind of like we went sideways, but I guess you could argue we started at about 92 and got up as high as 94. But really, if you zoom out, to me, it still just looks like bear market, kind of moves in here. See how this level like matches right where we're seeing this volatility show up, and then in the big picture, just kind of see after we have these big tops, it's pretty normal to have like a little retrace after. Excuse me. Still fighting the allergies. So anyway, blockchain backer, my favorite chart analyst, he posted this where he shows like the yellow boxes are where we're at now, like this one's where we're at now, and then this is like a past cycle. So he's anticipating probably a little retrace because we're getting about to that time where if it's going to happen, it's going to, I think he's saying about 105,000 or something. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw Bitcoin come up here, look at it on the year, and retrace back to about 100 right up here. And then it wouldn't surprise me if we went down further for kind of like a rounded bear market. Although, here's something today I thought was really interesting. The report identifies all the way former SEC Chair Gary Gensler, former bank supervisors like Michael Barr and others systematically debanked legal businesses in the U.S. So this whole debanking thing, President Trump and the Trump family, they were debanked. I personally, I wasn't debanked, but I had a bank give me trouble about linking my bank account to a crypto exchange. They told me you're not allowed because it's too dangerous. I just looked at them. I said, so you're telling me what I'm allowed to spend my money on? And they kind of said, yeah. And I said, oh, well, I want to get out $10,000 and go to the casino. Are you going to stop me? It's risky too. And they kind of just looked at me. I said, you need to give me my money now. And it got a little heated, but yeah. And I have a few friends who went through it too. I have some friends who got debanked, but go ahead and listen to this news clip. I think this lady does a good job of reporting on crypto, really.
Financial Services Committee issuing a 53-page final staff report on how the Biden administration debanked digital assets. It details how Biden-era regulators used vague rules, excessive discretion, informal guidance, and aggressive enforcement, all to pressure banks into distancing themselves from digital asset clients. This resulted in at least 30 entities or individuals losing access to financial services. Joining me now is Arkansas Congressman French Hale. He is the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. Mr. Chairman, great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. I want to kick it off with your report. What can you tell us?
Well, Maria, happy holidays. Great to be with you. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. This report identifies all the ways led by Gary Gensler, who was chairman of the SEC, the bank supervisors led by Michael Barr, then vice chairman of the Fed, and others, to systematically debank legal businesses in the United States engaged in the digital asset innovative space. And this is...
So you can watch the rest on your own, but I thought that was mighty interesting because I've had personal experience with it, and it's just not right. I mean, and I know why they were doing it. Gary Gensler, I mean, in the XRP army, we all know, his arguments didn't make sense. He was basically just put there by the bankers to slow down digital assets, is what we believe and saw a lot of evidence of. So, all right, moving along. Eleanor Terrett, you all know, one of my heroes. She says, at a crypto-themed Christmas bash Tuesday, Senator Tim Scott floated 2 dates for when the banking GOP might hold a markup of its market structure text and share what they stand on, where they stand on votes. So the market structure bill is the Clarity Act. So that's really interesting. Vanguard going to let its clients into crypto. Really exciting. But this whole Clarity Act thing, you know, the way it was taken away, I've been very vocal about it on my YouTube channel. You know, I heard a lot of talk at the crypto conferences that was supposed to be passed in October in the Senate. And then it wasn't, and now all of a sudden I feel like they're just kicking it down the road. But we always hear mention of it, but it's just hard to tell if it's going to actually happen. Senator Cynthia Loomis, she is a Bitcoin bull, and she's always, you know, fighting for Bitcoin, kind of Bitcoin maxi. But she posted this, and when I see funny things like this posted by really serious people, you know, I kind of pay attention because I've been in this space a while, and a lot of times they don't post things like this for no reason. You know, Franklin buys Bitcoin. But the funny thing is Franklin Templeton just did an ETF where you're going to be able to buy XRP in it. But I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway, that Market Structure Clarity Act, they keep teasing us with it. I mean, it'd be great if it were passed by the end of the year, but there's just no way to know. It was supposed to be passed in October, and then it just went away with the government shutdown. Here is Wendy O. I look up to Wendy O. She's a crypto influencer. She's getting really big now. I remember back when she was first getting started, she kind of, I don't know, was more of a Bitcoin maxi, it seemed like, but now she seems to report a lot on XRP, Solana, HBAR, a lot of altcoins. Let's just take a listen real quick.
It feels like a classic wealth transfer. From your perspective, I mean, did retail just hand over cheap Bitcoin to Vanguard clients, or is this morning's move simply a liquidity story?
I think there's a lot of different pieces here. We did have the current SEC chair, Paul Atkins. He did come out and he did talk about, basically the U.S. markets are open for crypto now, which is incredibly important. We had folks from BlackRock talk about tokenization, and then the Vanguard news is just absolutely massive. And yes, it is a little bit of a different clientele, or I want to say customer or demographic than what we generally see in crypto. But at the same time, we had all these bullish catalysts at once kind of happen. And, you know, we saw a lot of selling that happened last week. Bitcoin price definitely dropped down quite a bit. There was a lot of outflows with the ETFs. But at the end of the day, when we do take a look at a lot of the inflows, what's happening with BlackRock, I mean, of course, the Bitcoin spot ETF, I want to say it came out the other day that it was one of their most popular products, that they're able to garnish a lot of.
So anyway, I don't know, Wendy, I'd call them clients, not customers, because they have accounts at Vanguard, but they are, you know, probably more serious than retail investors. I think it's going to be huge. Speaking of huge, look what Wendy posted 5 hours ago. Something huge is happening on January 15th, 2026. Bookmark this and thank me later. I don't know what Wendy knows, but maybe it's the same thing that where is it? Cynthia Loomis is maybe hinting at. Maybe it's the Clarity Act on January 15th. I don't know, but I've seen a lot of crypto influencers say this is going to happen on this day and that's going to happen, you know, but I make moves based off of the past chart behavior and facts, you know. The ETFs are great, and I know they're going to bring trillions in. I just know that stuff takes time because there's also outflows because it's a market. I thought this was mighty interesting. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, with Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. Tokenization is the future, It's time to bring every asset on chain. It's a very broad statement, but in some of my crypto classes, I talk about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, how they're going to be used in the future to store value, to transfer value, but it's hard to imagine how it's going to work. But when people complain, oh, there's too many cryptocurrencies, there's thousands of them, so everyone can just make a new one. That's not really true, because Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, like a lot of them in the top 10 kind of have the market captured. So yeah, there are thousands, but there's not going to be one that just comes along and is better at XRP in instant settlement, because instant settlement, 2 to 5 seconds, you can't get much better than that. Bitcoin, if it stays the store of value where it just keeps going up in price, and its job is to store value, something's going to have to, how's it going to get ahead of Bitcoin at this point, unless somehow they just inflate the price of another coin higher than Bitcoin, same circulating supply, market cap. Like, it just can't, you can't just keep making new coins. However, there will be maybe an infinite amount of NFTs, non-fungible tokens. It's kind of like a crypto of something of value, but it's not something that everyone values. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I just watched Empire Strikes Back yesterday. I had a day where I was snowed in, and for some reason I like to drink my coffee and watch Empire Strikes Back. Arguably, in my opinion, the best Star Wars movie ever made, but the whole ice planet starts out on Hoth at the beginning, that battle. But anyway, if I'm a huge Empire Strikes Back fan, and I said, I want to make an NFT where it's digital asset guys NFT of Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back coin. I mean, if I have Empire Strikes Back coin and people know me and they also like Empire Strikes Back, maybe they'll want to buy it, and it'll be like a valuable collectible that they'll just want to own, like Pokemon cards or baseball cards or whatever, valuable to some people, worthless to other people. I think that's how tokenization is going to be in the future. Somebody could make an NFT of a really rare piece of real estate in New York City, in Manhattan or something. And, people who are interested in owning part of that real estate or a digital share, they will find a lot of value in it. But someone who lives, out in the country in, Ohio or something, they might not have any interest in it. So it's non-fungible. Fungible means it's interchangeable to everyone. But a non-fungible token, the value is not interchangeable. So it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around, but tokenization is definitely coming. And when I see these two guys taking pictures together and making posts like this, I know it's going to be big in the future. They would know. So, all right, I'm trying to make my videos a little bit shorter so that I can just get you the news and get you out of here. So thanks for joining me. To all a good night. Digital Asset Guy out. Thanks.